Astra Vega had once been one of humanity's brightest jewels, a flourishing colony world famous for its glittering oceans, sapphire blue mountain ranges, and sprawling biodomes filled with Terran wildlife. 800,000 humans lived there, far enough from Earth to feel independent, yet close enough to know they were still firmly part of the Terran sphere. It was a peaceful world, the kind where parents sent their children for safer lives and older generations retired to breathe clean air and watch twin sunsets. That serenity was shattered without warning. The Zyra Dominion, a predatory empire known for its cold efficiency, launched an unprovoked strike that erased Astra Vega in less than 6 minutes. Satellites melted before they could transmit distress signals. Orbital stations fell like burning snow. Entire cities were turned into nothing but dust drifting through the void. By the time a lone Terran survey vessel arrived to investigate the sudden blackout, the colony was already gone. Captain Lyra Holt, commanding that small survey ship, had seen war before, but nothing prepared her for the silence that awaited her team. Her crew scanned for survivors, but found none. No escape pods. No distress beacons. Nothing. The Zyra ships were still in the system when she arrived, as if admiring their handiwork. They fired on her immediately. Lyra knew she had no chance of winning. But she didn't run. She dodged through fields of shattered buildings and broken ships, weaving the small survey craft through drifting corpses of skyscrapers. Her ships suffered hit after hit. But Lyra kept broadcasting a final message to the Terran fleet, a desperate warning wrapped in grief and fury. Astra Vega has fallen. Her words burned through space. This is an extermination event. And then her ship died in a final burst of fire, taking her and her brave crew with it. But her message survived. It reached Earth. It reached the colonies. It reached every human who still believed in the myth that peace would protect them forever. When the recording played in Terran High Command 1 week later, the room fell into a suffocating silence. Generals, admirals, scientists, and diplomats all watched Lyra Holt's frozen hologram, her final words echoing like a war drum. The first to speak was Admiral Cale Rourke, a veteran known for his uncompromising resolve. His jaw tightened as he stared at the projection. 800,000 souls, he said, voice low, gone. Others in the room argued over political ramifications. Some claimed the Zyrith would deny involvement. Some suggested caution, fearful of provoking a galactic conflict. But Rourke slammed a datapad onto the table, calling their hesitation cowardice. Humanity, he reminded them, had built alliances, protected weaker species, and embraced cooperation for centuries. But peace was not unconditional. It was built on the assumption that civilization meant something. They committed genocide, Rourke growled. And you want to negotiate? Before the arguments could explode further, the door to the war room opened and Fleet Marshal Adria Soren walked in, the most respected military leader in human space. Her presence silenced everyone instantly. Soren didn't shout. She simply looked at Lyra Holt's final message and whispered, "Enough?" With a single command, she activated a hologram displaying humanity's fleet, every dreadnought, carrier, cruiser, destroyer, and frigate preparing for mobilization. The room gasped. Soren faced them and declared what will be remembered for centuries. Prepare the fleets. Every star between us and the Zyrith homeworld now burns for retribution. The Terran fleet awakened like a sleeping titan. Shipyards across dozens of star systems went into overdrive. Giant dreadnoughts rose from their docks like steel leviathans. Swarms of fighters flew formation drills around carriers, so large they blotted out the sun. Civilian volunteers flocked to service stations. Engineers worked through days without sleep. Humanity did not simply prepare for war. They embraced it with the cold, focused fury of a species who knew loss intimately and had evolved to survive catastrophe after catastrophe. Across the galaxy, alien nations watched in horror. Humanity had long been known for its unpredictability, its creativity, and its stubborn compassion. But very few had ever seen the humans truly enraged. Rumors spread like fire. The Terrans were moving. The Terrans were coming. They had declared vengeance for Astra Vega, and nothing would stand in their way. The Zyra Dominion, meanwhile, panicked. Their High Council convened an emergency session, screaming accusations and fear-laced demands. Their prime minister demanded to know why the humans were so furious. After all, the Xyrath claimed the attack was a rogue extremist cell. It was a lie, and the Terrans knew it. The warlord responsible for the strike insisted humans were too soft to retaliate. They are fragile, he said, emotional, predictable. But even as he spoke, his generals interrupted with panic updates. Human ships had breached their border defenses. Human marines were boarding Xyrath outposts. Human commanders were adapting faster than any algorithm could predict. The Xyrath had vastly underestimated humanity's capacity for rapid evolution under pressure. They had expected fear. They found fury. The Terran assault began like a thunderstorm. Entire Xyrath squadrons were annihilated within minutes. Human pilots used unpredictable flight patterns that baffled Xyrath targeting systems. Human engineers modified weapons mid-battle. Human soldiers fought with terrifying precision, driven by grief and righteous anger. And through it all, one message blasted across every Terran frequency: for Astra Vega. Those 3 words became the anthem of humanity's wrath. Battle after battle, the Xyrath retreated confused, terrified, unable to comprehend what they had provoked. Humanity did not simply want victory. They wanted justice. They disabled ships instead of vaporizing them, capturing crew instead of slaughtering them. They were merciless against combatants, yet shockingly compassionate toward prisoners. This confused the Xyrath even more. How could humans be so enraged yet so principled? How could they wage war with such brutality and honor at the same time? It terrified them because they realized humanity wasn't driven by bloodlust, but by a moral fury even stronger. As the Terran fleet carved its way deeper into Xyrath space, Admiral Rourke uncovered devastating intelligence. The weapon that destroyed Astra Vega was indeed used by an extremist faction within Xyrath Dominion, but the Xyrath government had willingly covered it up. They had allowed it to happen. They had supported it quietly, hoping to fracture human expansion and test their resolve. What they received instead was a lesson carved in fire. Finally, the Terran Armada reached the Xyrath home system. Billions of Xyrath looked up into the sky and saw a sight that would be etched into their nightmares for generations. The Terran fleet, stretching across the heavens like a second metallic set of stars. They attempted to negotiate, but humanity did not come for words, they came for reckoning. Rourke opened a transmission broadcast across the entire Xyrath homeworld. He did not yell. He didn't need to. He simply showed them what they had done. A holographic replay of Astra Vega, as it was a beautiful world vibrant with life, followed by an obliteration into ash. "You tried to erase us," he said, voice breaking only on the last word. "But humans do not die quietly, and we do not forget." He demanded the immediate surrender of the extremist leaders. If they refused, the Terran fleet would take them by force. The Xyrath Prime Minister, trembling, surrendered, not out of honor, out of fear. Terran soldiers landed on the Xyrath homeworld, escorted by Xyrath security forces themselves. They entered the bunkers where the extremist faction hid and pulled them out one by one. Humanity could have executed them on sight. They did not. They arrested them. They promised a trial under interstellar law. Because humanity understood something critical. Justice did not need cruelty to be powerful. When Marshal Soren announced the war's end, she spoke not with triumph, but solemnity. "Let the stars remember," she said. "Humanity will not start wars, but we will end any war brought to our door. Astra Vega will be rebuilt, and the memory of the fallen will burn brighter than the fire that destroyed them." A year later, a massive memorial station orbited a quiet blue star. The names of every victim of Astra Vega glowed in endless holographic rows. Species from across the galaxy visited, many leaving offerings or messages of regret. The plaque at the center of the station bore simple words. They erased the human colony, but they could not erase humanity. And across the galaxy, peace held a little stronger because every species remembered what happened when someone pushed humanity too far.